Hey there, I'm Frank Mitchell. On this channel, it's all about helping you understand your car and keeping it running the way it should. Whether it's routine maintenance or solving those tricky problems, I've got you covered. If you find this useful, give the video a like, hit that subscribe button, and be sure to watch till the end. You might learn something that saves you time and money. All right, let's get started.
April 20th, 2022 marks the 30th anniversary of the inauguration of the 1992 Universal Exposition of Seville, better known as Expo 92. This exhibition opened the Andalusian capital and the whole of Spain to the eyes of the world for almost 6 months, until its closing on October 12th of the same year. It showed our country's capacity to organize an event of international repercussion with the greatest care and media attention. At the event, 108 countries and 24 organizations showed their best in didactic pavilions that were also architectural gems of the most varied kind. Today, a few of those buildings can still be visited and guided tours are organized to learn about the site and the historical legacy that marked Seville. You can also buy souvenirs of the Expo 92 in some collectors' websites. Car brands were no strangers to Expo 92 nor to its popular mascot, Kuro, who, by the way, almost drowned on November 22, 1991 during the launching of a replica of the now Victoria. In Carwow we wanted to make, as a tribute, an exercise of imagination and parallelism, what cars would appear in the pavilions of Expo 92 if it were held today? Here are the most important models that could be seen during the Universal Exposition and their current counterparts: Citroën Satella, an electric and modular city car in the Energy Pavilion. For those who think that electric mobility is something new, it may come as a bit of a shock to learn that 30 years ago the idea was already present in prototypes such as the Satella. This small urban vehicle not only looked much closer to a production car than to a spaceship, but even then it was already being considered as a vehicle made of recyclable materials, thanks to the interchangeable panels on the upper part of its body. Depending on requirements, the Satella could be converted into a coupe, a small station wagon, or a pickup. Its figures were equally impressive: 130 kilometers of range and 112 kilometers per hour top speed. At the stand where it was exhibited, the brand's manager said of it, "This car, with 1 minute plugged in the battery, covers 2 kilometers." Very optimistic figures, we think. Without so many pretensions, because it is a much simpler car, we believe that a good example of what Citroën would present today in the French pavilion would be the AMI, also electric and urban, recyclable and made with interchangeable panels. In fact, Citroën has already made an adaptation for off-road use, the AMI buggy concept. In any case, its performance is more modest: 75 kilometers of autonomy and 45 kilometers/h top speed. Citroën ZX Vulcain, the compact sports car for which young people sighed. If you are very young, it may not ring a bell, but the name Vulcain together with the acronym ZX did not leave the motoring public indifferent in the early 90s. And in the Energy Pavilion there was a representation of the assembly line of this popular compact in its different stages, showing the bodywork or the engine, up to the car ready to roll, with a brand new white ZX there on display. Above right you can see the ZX on display at the Energy Pavilion, in this image by Jamie Alvarez Corral, from the blog Legato Expo Sevilla. Org. Today, without a doubt, the star of the event would be the Citroën C4, or its electric variant, the EC4, as the context of the pavilion was dedicated to raising awareness of the responsible use of energy 30 years ago. The assembly line could well be brought directly from Villaverde, in Madrid, as this model is 100% Spanish-made. Fiat Tipo, a well-thought-out car; the slogan, not so much. Another popular compact car in the early 1990s was the Fiat Tipo, which still exists today. At that time it was particularly desirable for its avant-garde look, thanks above all to the digital instrumentation, which was a novel and eye-catching piece of equipment. The slogan that the Italian brand chose to advertise it during the Expo 92 and the April Fair, coinciding in time, would hardly have passed today the filters of any advertising agency. It read, "The latest thing at the Seville fair is to go with a guy in Finos." And the fact is that the guys in Seville are big, elegant, and with a lot of character. They start by Soliers, Sevillanas, and everything that is put in front of them. That's why the Fiat Tipo takes them all by storm. Fiat Tipo. A great type. The current Fiat Tipo is available in Carwow with 2 types of bodywork and with several finishes, including one of crossover appearance called Cross. We do not know if the Tipo takes them all on the road, but we do know that many take it home because it has an excellent relationship between size, equipment, and price. Ford, official car of Expo 92. This was the brand's slogan during 1992, thanks to the fact that it directly sponsored the Universal Exposition with its fleet of cars as official Expo 92 vehicles. And now, if you are over 30, we ask, who hasn't had at least one Ford Escort or Ford Orion in their family? Let alone if a distant uncle or your grandparents drove a model with Kia finish or, directly, a Ford Escorpio, with those leather seats that looked like sofas. These 2 cars, Escort and Orion, were then the spearhead of the American brand. Today, replaced by the Ford Focus in its different body variants, the Americans are still leaders in this segment thanks to their efficient engine offer and good reputation. Carlos Sainz's Toyota Celica, in the Monaco Pavilion. You might have expected to find it in the spectacular Japan Pavilion at Expo 92, made entirely of wood, but Carlos Sainz's Toyota Celica, with its famous red and white decoration, was on display at the entrance of the Monaco Pavilion. A year earlier, in 1991, Carlos Sainz and Luis Moya had won the Monte Carlo Rally, and the pavilion organizers knew the media hype enjoyed by that car and that mythical couple. Today, Toyota is still linked to the world of competition and covers so many specialties that it is difficult to choose one. Even with its hybrid range, led by the popular Toyota Corolla, it has allowed itself to win at Le Mans, although the preponderance that the GR Yaris is beginning to have in rallying is on the way to do justice to the achievements of that mythical Celica GT4 of Sainz. A Volkswagen Beetle for Queen Dona Sofia. In the Mexican Pavilion, taking advantage of the celebration of Mexico's National Day, on September 16, 1992, the pavilion's employees presented Queen Sofia with a Volkswagen Beetle. The then Queen of Spain made her official visit to the building on the occasion. That Beetle was one of the cars used by the workers to move around the Expo 92 site and to give visibility to the Mexican industry, since one of the factories that at that time still assembled this popular model, known as Vocho, was in that country. Photo, Jose Hinojosa Corbacho for Esa Sevilla. Blogspot today, in order to represent that spirit of simplicity and, at the same time, rationality of the Beetle, it is clear to us that the gift could have been the Volkswagen ID. 3. Although it is not manufactured in Mexico, so perhaps the official visit should have been to the German or Chinese pavilion, because both countries have production. In conclusion, the cars of Expo 92 not only showcased the cutting-edge technology of their time but also reflected the spirit of innovation and sustainability that defined the event. From electric vehicles to futuristic designs, these automobiles were a glimpse into the future of transportation. As we look back on this remarkable exhibition, we are reminded of how far we've come and the exciting possibilities that lie ahead in the automotive world. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the iconic vehicles of Expo 92.